Hi, Melissa. I'm so glad that you chose to write a poem to give us more details about Texarkana. I really dug this poem this week. I really like the details that you include. Um, I also just love to hear a story of your grandmother who um, was able to contribute to her family and made enough money at 14 to with her performance. To contribute to her family, even though it pissed off her husband. It's a great story, and the details you included are really wonderful. I will say, there was this one stanza felt a little bit forced. The rest of the poem really flowed super well, but this one stanza, escape reality each night in comforting dreams, uncles, fathers, and brothers without wandering hands, safe and warm in my bed made of feathers, white linen wraps me in a swaddling hug. It felt, I don't know if this is necessary. I would consider cutting it or redacting it, because I think it takes away from all of the vivid details in the rest of the poem. I also wonder about this last stanza. It's like I recognize that it was an important part of the story that your grandmother told, that her husband was not a fan of Texarkana and felt that his manhood was threatened by her ability to earn money. But I don't know if we need that to enjoy the poem or to get the essence of the poem. I also think Our Voices Ring Folk Tunes and Tips Fly and Mouths Fill is an incredible way to end a poem. So I want you to consider either expanding this last part, give us more details of this part of the last stanza of the story in this last stanza, or cut it all together. I think it's totally fine for you to speak in the first person in this poem, by the way. We get to do that as poets, right? We get to take on the identity of other people. It's totally fine. In terms of this second poem, An Airman in a Soldier's World, I want to just get this. Was the tone of the poem too negative? I think it's fine for poems to be negative. I don't think poems have to be sunshiny and daisy poems, right? They can explore the darker parts of life. I think so. I don't think you have to worry about the poem being too negative. Um, did you, I do think that you expressed how you were not really embraced as part of this culture in this new position. I do think that in your next edit, I want you to sort of I want you to not be as afraid of being disrespectful or negative and see what else comes out. Like, what are some other details that you would include in here if you weren't worried about the judgment of thinking you were being too negative, right? If you were just being super honest. Doesn't mean you have to share it with anybody, but just for yourself to be super honest and not worry about being too negative, and what other details might be included in here. Because I feel like there's some details that you're leaving out, and maybe it's self-censorship. So anyway, I look forward to seeing where you go with this, and thank you so much for your work.